Good morning from St. Petersburg, Florida. Let's see what's going on. I believe today is Tuesday, August 26th, 2014. It's 7:28 here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And let's check the weather. Seattle, Washington, 65 degrees. Portland, Oregon, 67 degrees. Hayward, California, 62 degrees. Tokyo, Japan, 75 degrees. San Antonio, Texas, 80 degrees. Toledo, Ohio, 71 degrees. Los Angeles, California, 66 degrees. Denver, Colorado, 58 degrees. St. Petersburg, Florida, 79 degrees. Good morning from St. Petersburg, Florida. It is August 26th, 2014. It's 7:29 a.m. here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And let's check the weather. Seattle, Washington, 65 degrees. Portland, Oregon, 67 degrees. Hayward, California, 62 degrees. Tokyo, Japan, 75 degrees. San Antonio, Texas, 80 degrees. Toledo, Ohio, 71 degrees. Los Angeles, California, 66 degrees. Denver, Colorado, 58 degrees. St. Petersburg, Florida, 79 degrees. Corpus Christi, Texas, 76 degrees. San Francisco, California, 61 degrees. Tampa Bay, Florida, 75 degrees. Charlotte, North Carolina, 61 degrees. New York, 71 degrees. Santa Fe, New Mexico, 55 degrees. Hayward, California, 62 degrees. Santa Rosa, California, 59 degrees. Gaza, Egypt, aka Gaza, Israel, 91 degrees. Tel Aviv, Israel, 91 degrees. Jerusalem, Israel, 91 degrees. Hilo, Hawaii is 74 degrees. Got to reload our page here real quick because we added some new weather. We've got Rotterdam, Netherlands, 59 degrees, and Amsterdam, Netherlands, 59 degrees. Them are our new weather cities that we're going to be keeping an eye on, which we have a streamer from Dissenters that lives somewhere in the Netherlands, Yvonne, depends. I call her Yvonne because she's always been an Yvonne to me, but she's an Yvonne. So anyway, that's the weather from Artstarzz.com and around the world. So let's see what's going on. I guess the first thing we better do is check our reliable sources in the chats to see what's going on. These chats are pretty reliable, although some of them stretch the truth and on occasion just flat out lie. There's a lot of information in there, so visit artstarzz.com, check out the chats, pick out what you like, throw back what you don't. So, Global Revolution, 34 visitors this morning, and dropping from 1,000 to 34. Like I said yesterday or the day before, whenever I said it last, these numbers depend on what's going on in the world. And if there's nothing going on, well, then the numbers are going to drop, because the chatters usually don't come in the thousands to talk to each other. They come to talk about the issues, and that's just my opinion. Okay, we got dissenters. It's not showing any numbers, but I do see I see people. Maybe what I have to do is turn these things on to get some more accurate numbers, and that went to 34. Turn that on, nothing's happening, so I'll turn it back off. We'll check dissenters again because there's people there. I see them, but it's not showing any numbers for dissenters. I don't know what's going on with live stream, but it's definitely a live stream issue. So Nothing's going on there. Let's check out Dissenters 5 is showing 2 viewers. Not much going on this morning. Not too much happens this morning. In the morning, I mean, Artstarzz, nothing's going on there. And in Global Occupy News Network, same, 7 viewers. Not too much action yet. They pick up later on in the day. Like I said, we're all in different time zones. You know, you've got some people that are getting ready to go to bed. You've got other people just waking up. So you've got other possibilities. Got 2 viewers this morning, up and around, checking things out. Syrian Freedom's got 2 viewers this morning, chatting, talking about what's going on in Syria. And then we've got our web chat, which pretty much nothing happens in there too. All day long, nothing happens in there. That's basically where I'll put the current news. If something is happening now, I'll drop it in there, and then it scrolls it on top of the site. So Occupy Toronto, 1 person, nothing going on. It's early. So let's see if I can take us to St. Petersburg. Have a look around St. Petersburg. A little foggy this morning. It's nice and clear in the city. And this is the city of St. Petersburg. 4th Avenue, I think, and I don't know what the cross streets are. It says here, I think 4th Avenue downtown at 14 Street North. So that must be 1st Avenue and North and 4th Street. Nope, it's along Central Avenue. So anyway, that's where we're gonna be doing our little broadcast from. Will be St. Petersburg. Give you a view of the waterfront, because I like that much better, even though it's a little foggy today. We'll zoom in on that. We'll select a range, and we'll get all this all fixed up, and you're watching it as it happens, because I don't think I'll be turning stuff on and off while I do stuff like this. We're not professionals. I'm not. I don't know of anybody on these chats who are, because if you were a professional, you'd be working for a company making big money. So there's a nice view of the water, kind of foggy like I said, and that's St. Petersburg along the Gulf of Mexico. So let's see. This morning, I'll talk a little bit about the media, what the media is doing. Ferguson, yesterday they had the funeral for Michael Brown, who was shot and killed by a Ferguson police officer. And they had the funeral for him yesterday. Just a recap. He was shot and killed after the cops told him to get something off of the street, and he didn't move quick enough, or wasn't going to move at all, and the police officer shot him to death. That's the short of it. And he laid in the streets for 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Depends on who you're listening to. That's what they report, that he was laying in the street for 4.5, 5 hours. So the first and the strongest report is that he laid there for 4 hours. But his funeral was yesterday, and they had a big showing. He looked like a rock star. The way that the people showed up, the media covered it. But live stream and live streamers had gone home. But the difference between mainstream media and the streamers is financing. Streamers pretty much finance themselves. No matter where they go, they finance themselves, or they do it through donations. And it can get expensive staying in a place for 14, 15 days, whatever. Even if you figure, most of those places you can't hardly get a hotel for less than $100 a night. So that's $1,400 right there. And then you got to eat. And, you figure if you eat at least 2 times a day, and it costs you $10, just a minimum, a little, something, a McDonald's or whatever they feel like eating. Say it costs them $10 a day. Most meals you sit down in a restaurant will cost you $20 after a tip. And so then you've got another $40 on top of that. So now you got $140 a day times 14 or 15. And then you've got fuel. And then you've got the expense of getting there and getting home. So you go, it wouldn't be too hard to, depending on where you came from, to figure that little thing cost a live streamer around $2,000. But, some of these streamers, they may sleep in their car, but still you've got to shower and, kind of stay clean because you're going to be out in public. You can't be all stinky and stuff, while you're interviewing people. That won't go over well. And then you sometimes end up on the camera, and you don't want to look like you just woke up for 14 days. I think. I don't know. I'm not speaking for them. I'm just having opinions about them. So anyway, the live streamers are gone. I couldn't find anything yesterday, but the parents did request that there was no protest yesterday. Don't protest. They didn't want you protesting. They wanted it to be pretty much a day of silence and respect for Michael Brown. Well, Michael Brown brought this to our attention. It really isn't about Michael Brown. It's about what's happening in America, what's happening with our police departments. Although this isn't nothing new, Michael Brown has again brought it to the attention of all Americans all over the country and the world, because a lot of countries like China and Russia especially, that just can't wait for there to be a mistake in the United States so they can say, hey, see, look what happens in your country. Don't come and try to tell us about human rights when this is what's going on in your country. And they're right. They're right. We've got to clean our own backyard before we go try to tell other people what to do in theirs. And so they're right. But it's a little bit more than cleaning your own backyard. It's a little bit more than that. When you have countries invading other countries and, murdering the people in them countries, what does the United States do about that? Or should they do anything about it? Should we do anything? I keep saying they like it's another people in a far-off land somewhere. What should we do about it? What I do about it is I witness. I witness and I talk about it. I'm too old to run off and pick up a rifle and go off to Afghanistan or Iraq or even to Ferguson in March. I'm past that already. My thing is talking and trying to get the information out the best I can, doing the best I can, and I pretty much have the attitude is, I've done what I was supposed to do, and that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not going to, go crazy trying to get information out. I've built a website, I have several channels, and I talk. And that's about all I'm going to do, and I think that's all that most of us can do. Protesting, does it work? I think what protesting does is that it brings the problem to our attention, and then you have to vote. Ferguson's problem was a lack of voting, a lack of being involved in their government. And they can make excuses, and other people can make all the excuses that they want to about what happened in Ferguson. But the bottom line is they didn't vote. What's happening in Ferguson, what happens in our country, the bottom line is they don't vote. Now back in the 60s, it was a little bit different. It was a lot harder to vote physically because they'd kick your ass. They'd beat you down. They'd fire you from your job. they'd harass your family. It's not the 60s anymore. Although some days it looks like it. Ferguson looked like the 60s when they had all of that heavy equipment. You can't call them tanks, but they had a lot of heavy equipment there. Machine guns. Machine guns pointed at the American people because they didn't vote. And they allowed the trash, and I call them trash, to get a job in Ferguson in the police department. Why? Maybe because they don't pay enough taxes. Maybe they can't afford to pay any taxes. Well, one of the things about a government is that if you have a good government and it organizes the people properly, you can have enough money to pay your police department so that you can get quality people in there, educated people in there, people who have been educated in the ways of people, so that they can work with the communities, not contain the communities. They're already given the background history of the cop that killed Michael Brown. They're already given his history, and he's a reject. He was a reject. They closed down the police department that he came from. Do you think that would have been a signal to the people of Ferguson? What kind of cops they were getting? It was like saying they were recruiting them from the KKK. And what were they doing about it? Nothing. Nothing. I ain't gonna vote because my vote doesn't matter. Well, it does, and Ferguson is a perfect example of why it matters. A lot of people blame this kind of thing on the media. They're saying, well, you know, if the media wasn't there, this wouldn't be as big of a story. Well, yeah. If the media doesn't cover this sort of thing, it isn't a story. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing we do have the media. All media. Citizen stream media is a good thing. What I don't like, what a lot of people say about Citizen Stream, is that they tell the truth. No, they don't. Not all the time. They aren't any different than mainstream media. They censor, they show what they want to show, and they say what they want to say. Mainstream media does the same thing. It's up to you as an individual to decide what the truth is. Research. Research. I seen something interesting in Global Revolution yesterday. And one of the people, one of the chatters was talking about anarchy. And this person said that the dictionary, basically, the dictionary has rewritten the meaning of anarchy. That isn't what anarchy means. So in other words, what she's saying is that she's going to decide what a word means. Now, she's going to take the word anarchy and redefine it, because the word anarchy doesn't fit into what she thinks it is. So she's going to rewrite the definition. And she says now the definition that we all know, or that you look up, is wrong. And they do the same thing with media. They say what you see in front of your eyes is not true, because the media lies. Only live streamers tell the truth. Only what you see from their cell phones is the truth. All of this other stuff is a lie. It's a false flag. That's what they say. So all of a sudden, because anarchy is under attack, it's also surprised, because it thought it was the attacker, which surprised a lot of people these days. They think they're the attackers. They think they're the ones doing the attacking. And they're starting to find out, as more and more Americans wake up. Of course, that's what they wanted us to do. They said we were all sleeping, we were sheeples, who were asleep, and we need to wake up. Well, their biggest nightmare is when we wake up. That's their biggest nightmare. But when they say that they want us to wake up, they don't want us to wake up. They want us to think like them. They want to take control from one place and put it in another because they think we're controlled. They think we're easily controlled. They think that the government and mainstream media controls Americans in America. And that's how naive they are. But when we talked about anarchy, and you get the definition of anarchy, it's no government, no control. That's what it is. That's the short and sweet of it. It's not written like that in the dictionary, and of course it wouldn't be written like that in the dictionary, but the short and sweet of it is it's no government and no control. Everybody's on their own. Do what you want. You're free. You also don't have a society when everybody is free like that, because you don't have anybody working together. We're looking at an airport. Can the anarchists build an airport? Or are they going to redefine the word of anarchy to fit them to say, yeah, well, we can build an airport? Well, then you're no longer an anarchist. There's certain things that you have to be if you want to be an anarchist. And one of the things that you're not is a builder. You tear things down. You're selfish. And you're an anarchist. You can't redefine words just because it doesn't fit into the way you think it is, because you thought being an anarchist was cool. I'm anti-government. I'm protesting. I'm out here. I'm somebody. I'm doing something. Bullshit. You're not doing anything. You're in the way. That's what you are. You're in the way. You're in the way of progress. It's not about going backwards in anybody's world, including yours. You shouldn't want to go backwards. You should want to move forward. Build stuff. Build your life. Being an anarchist might be cool. Painting your fingernails black or getting involved in some kind of grunge thing or a mosh pit might be cool. But you have to grow up because you're going to grow old. And you're going to look for the security of society, not the security of anarchy. Something happens to you, you become disabled. You're going to look for the security of society, not the security of anarchy. Is that fair to the people who supported the system? Well, all you did was fight the system. Is that fair to us, that we have to support you when all you did was fight us, fight our way of life? Is it fair that we have to now support you? Support the enemy. That's what it is. It's supporting the enemy. But in America, we do that. We are the strangest damn people. We support our enemies. We keep trying to show them that what we're doing ain't all that bad. What we preach isn't all that bad. What do we tell our kids in America that is so damn bad? I mean, in general. I'm not talking about the people who raise their kids to hate black people or hate Chinese or hate another group of people, hate gay people. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about America in general. What do we teach our kids? We try to teach them to be honest and fair and caring and have empathy. That's what we try to teach them. We don't sit down and teach them words, no. But we try to teach them to get along. And that's why we have so many good people that grow up in America and travel all over the world and get themselves killed trying to help other people. Like those doctors that ended up catching Ebola. Them are Americans raised in America, trying to do something in the world other than bullshit their way through life. They're trying to do something with their life. The life that America gave them. Because a lot of people in America know that we aren't an island and that we have to help the world. I'm not one of those people. No, I'm not. I'm a simple American. American who will never leave America. But there are better Americans than me out there who know that the world is where we all live. I live in America. I live in Florida. I live in St. Petersburg. I'm a small man, a simple man. Some people call me simple-minded. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. Don't be surprised when I fight back and that American spirit comes out of a simple man and I fight back. Don't be surprised. And don't mistake me being simple for being afraid to fight. I just like a simpler life. I don't want all of that trouble, but other people, better people than me, do. And they go all over the world trying to help. That's what they do. So I would say an anarchist is an enemy, trying to destroy that kind of way of life. Because these people that travel all over the world are funded by the United States in one way or another. I don't care how you cut it. Either the government helps them or private charities help them, but they're funded, born and raised in the United States. And they're out in the world trying to help, doing the best they can. So back to Ferguson. Back to Ferguson. In America, you know, that's a black eye in America. And that's what we have in America. We have a lot of black eyes in our history. Because that's what the media pays attention to. You don't have to fix something that's not broken, so you don't pay attention to it. Media pays attention to the things that are broken. And that's why bad news is on the news all the time. We're constantly trying to fix our system. We're trying to make the world a better place to live in. Some people would say, oh, no, you're not. You're just a bunch of greedy assholes and corporatists. And they got a bunch of names for us. Capitalists. Making everything we do filthy and disgusting. Everything we try is evil. Because they can't lead us. Because we don't want to follow their ignorance. We need anarchy in this country. That's what they think. Well, look at some countries that have anarchy. And I would say that most of the Middle East is kind of an example of what anarchy looks like. Sure, they have kings and prime ministers and presidents, and you know, they have all kinds of stuff, but basically that is what anarchy looks like. Everybody doing their own thing. Everybody wanting somebody to be like them. ISIL wants everybody to be like them, and they are going to kill you. They ain't playing. They're going to kill you if you don't act like they do. The reason anarchists will never be successful in the United States is because you would have to kill us in order to get us to think like that. They want us to wake up. Wake up. See what's going on. Oh, like we don't know what's going on. They're the only ones that know what's going on because they're anarchists. They know what's going on. We don't. They watch the same shit we watch. Whether they agree with it or complain about it, they watch the same things we watch. They don't know us, so they think we're sleeping. We wake up in the morning and go to bed just like they do, with the same information they have. They aren't doing any more than anybody else. You might claim to be an anarchist. You might get out there and do a little live streaming. I'm an anarchist. I'm doing something. Bullshit. You ain't doing anything. You have to ask yourself with honesty, what have I accomplished? Not what did I do? What have I accomplished? That's what you have to know. Not what you did. I got up this morning just like you did. What did I accomplish? Nothing. Today for me is the same as yesterday, and tomorrow will be the same as today. And that's the way that a lot of people's worlds are. They're like that. What did you accomplish? Did you cure cancer? No. Did you change your little world at all? No. You didn't. I didn't. I survived like you survived. We survive like you survive. If you have to spend your whole life trying to change the world, then you better get an education in what it is you're trying to change. Because it's not going to change just because you say it's wrong. You can bring attention to a problem. You can do that. But other people will change and fix the problem. Educated people will fix the problems. And then media will decide if the problem is worth any attention. That's what media does. But a lot of people don't want media. They say media is bullshit. Nothing but lies. Only we know the truth. That's what they say.
It's 8 o'clock.
That media is bullshit. But they get their information and report. Mostly negative stuff, of course. Anytime the media makes a mistake, or somebody in the media does something for personal gain, they find that. They bring it up. See what I mean? Just like the cop in Ferguson. That cop killed that kid, murdered that kid. Them cops in New York murdered that man. Them cops all over the country have made some big mistakes. But as soon as they make them mistakes, they're up there saying, see what I mean? Well, not all cops are like that. Not all cops are like that. Some cops actually do a job, a good job. It's a hard job to maintain a chipper attitude when you're a cop. Excuse me, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, I don't mind that you spit at me, ma'am. It's okay, sir, that you called me a fucker. It's okay, sir. Excuse me, sir. They got to be polite to you. They're civil servants. They work for you. You say that. You pay their salary. You tell them that. And you forget they're people because they're a cop. Not all cops are like the cops in Ferguson. And not all journalists are perfect. And I don't care if they're live streamers or mainstream media. They're not perfect. They're just people trying to do something. And some of them get caught up going down the wrong path. They're people. People make mistakes. People are evil. People do some shitty things. But they're just people. And then you give them a label. You make them a cop. You make them a journalist. You make them a live streamer. But they're not all going to be good. And some of them shouldn't be doing it. But people got to make a living. And they'll do it any way they can. Some do it in journalism. Some do it as a cop. But they got to make a living. Some people will ask you for money to donate to them so that they can make a living. They depend on you to support them. Well, we all support each other in one way or another. That's a society, and you can't have that if you have anarchists. Anarchists don't want that. Now again, getting back to that one person that wants to rewrite the definition of anarchy, they shouldn't claim to be an anarchist if they don't know what the definition of anarchy is. And just because they get attacked for being an anarchist, that doesn't mean you can change the definition of anarchy. You can't. It's a word. It has a definition. You can't rewrite the word. You can write another word and give it a new definition and be something else, but you can't be an anarchist and change the definition. You just can't do it. Same thing with media. You can't quote media as being evil and then use them every time you need information, whether it's good or bad. All the people in the chats that say mainstream media is no good wants mainstream media at their protests. And when mainstream media doesn't show up, they're all pissed off. Well, where's mainstream media? Well, maybe they just got a little tired of you calling them down all the time and just going to show you that you're nothing unless they show up. Even with your little cell phones, you're nothing until they show up. And when they show up, you're mad because you say they're going to lie. They're not going to show this the way it is. Only we can show it the way it is. That's nonsense. And if you believe that, you're an idiot. Like I said, a lot of these people don't want America to wake up and see that they're there. Because the more people that see they're there, the angrier they're going to be. And what you don't want as an anarchist is a bunch of people that are awake and angry at you. Because you're trying to tear down their world. People talk about our government like they're not talking about Americans. People talk about America like they're not talking about Americans. I personally sit and I watch this stuff and I say, what the hell are they talking about? I'm not like that. And they continue on and on. No, we don't mean you. We don't mean you. It's like a white person saying terrible things about black people, and a black person is standing right there. And then they look at the black person and they say, no, well, we don't mean you. You're not one of them kind of blacks. Well, that's the way it is with America. You're not one of them kind of Americans. Bullshit. Yes, I am. I'm an American, and you're not going to separate me. You're not going to separate me from America to make what you're trying to do right. You don't want to wake up America. Let her sleep. You're better off. You're better off letting America sleep. We are the worst beehive to kick. You have to let it sleep. And then you can go about your little world with your anarchy games and whatever it is you're trying to do, and nobody will bother you. You can protest in peace because America is asleep. And America is letting you protest in peace. Look what happens when you wake up America. Look what happened in Ferguson. America was awake. Them are the people you'll wake up. You'll wake up a Ferguson cop. And the silent majority will let it happen. Because you decided you wanted to wake America up. And show America what it doesn't know. America knows everything it needs to know. And wants to know. Most Americans don't spend their day wondering about Ferguson. Or Gaza. Or Syria. Afghanistan. Africa. Most Americans don't wake up worrying about that sort of thing. Why? Because maybe they don't have enough money to put gas in their car to get to work. Maybe they found out that their kid just ditched school and the principal called. And now they have to miss work to take their kid to school. That's just the bad things. But maybe they figure, like most, that I'm not going to go out and patrol the streets because I pay the police department to do that. For better or worse, they do that. If I have to pay taxes and worry about everything else, I'm doing something wrong. Nah, you don't want to wake up America. You don't want to wake it up. Because like I said, if you decide that you're going to be an enemy and you wake up America, like they did in 9/11, they woke America up. And America came out like a beehive and just started blowing the hell out of places. Right or wrong, we don't care. Kill them all and let Allah sort them out. That's what America did when they got woke up. When we woke, they woke us up on 9/11. Woke the whole country up. Put the whole country on a course of destruction. Yeah, America was wide awake. Woke her up. Got her attention. All right? So now the mom ain't worried about soccer no more. The mom ain't worried about nothing but 9/11. Woke her up. Are you sure you want to wake America up? Are you sure? Because that's what you'll get. You want to be an anarchist? Don't wake America up. Look what happens when the KKK wakes America up. Look what happened when Ferguson woke America up. Are you sure you want to wake America up? Are you sure? Because what you're trying to do to America is not the American way. And you have to understand, or you don't, that Americans like their government. Americans like their way of life. You aren't informing them about anything they don't know. If they don't know it, it's because they don't want to know it. That's what's happening in America. You think we're asleep? We're not asleep. We pay people to deal with them kind of problems. How do we pay them? With our taxes. How do they get their jobs? We vote them in. You don't want to participate in taxes and voting? Don't. We'll do this. But if you think you're going to come in with your little ideas and show us how our way of life is wrong, you're wrong. America is a way of life and has been for hundreds of years. People have been trying to destroy our way of life for hundreds of years. What happens to anarchists is they grow up and understand that if you're going to live in America, you're going to have to work. And if you work, you're going to have to pay taxes. And you'll get the benefits. You'll get the benefits. But like I said, if you want to see anarchy in action, look at the Middle East. And if you're happy with that, then you might need to be in the Middle East. I always did hate when somebody said, if you don't like America, leave it. Because it was usually some redneck somewhere saying something like that. If you don't love America, well, just leave it. And I used to think, no, If you don't like America, stay and try to change it. But what I meant by that was try to make it better. If you don't like the way things are, you don't like our tax system, you don't like our educational system, you don't like the fact that corporations have the power that they have, change it. Protesting has a way of bringing attention to a problem. But it's only part of solving the problem. You'll have to vote. We aren't a pick up your gun country. We'll let you have them. You know, our Constitution says you can have them. And it's getting, easier and easier to be a gun-carrying American in America. But they did it with votes. They voted in the people that would let them do that. Republicans, for example. They voted the people in that lets them be the way they want to be. That's the way it works in America. You don't like our system? Get yourself elected and change it. That's what the Tea Party did. They were a joke at one time. And then they got the Koch brothers. Billionaires. Well, the Democrats got billionaires too. So it became a chess game between the billionaires. That's what it is. And we're the pawns, but we're in the game. We're in the game. Anybody who plays chess knows that a pawn is just as important as a king or a queen. Chess is a very old game. It's a very old game. Might be one of the oldest games in the world. I don't know, but I know it's an old game. But in that game, a pawn can become a queen. The most powerful piece on the board. Pawn can't become a king. Nothing can become a king. No piece can be turned into a king in the game of chess. But every piece is important. Every piece is important. But the king in the game of chess is the only piece that can't be replaced. You can't take a pawn and turn it into a king, because the king is the game. Once you capture the king, the game is over. All the other pieces, once you capture them or kill them, take them off the board, they can be replaced. The king is the only piece that can't be replaced. It's the game. The king is the whole game. It's all about the king. But that's kind of the way things are in America. You know, you start out as a pawn if you're lucky to even be in the game. A lot of people don't want to even be in the game. They don't even want to play the game. They just want to complain about how the game is played. They don't want to get involved in the game. They don't want to play the game of the sleepy people. They want to stay off of the board where it's safe and tell the players how to play the game. That's what they want to do. That's what anarchists think would work in the world. The world should be like Iraq. Yeah, that's anarchy. That's what anarchy looks like. You've got a bunch of people killing a bunch of people. Syria. Syria is what anarchy looks like. A bunch of people killing a bunch of people. Of course, it's different degrees. It's different degrees of anarchy. But it's anarchy. That's what it is. Who's running this show? We don't know. We don't know who's running it because it's anarchy. This is what anarchy looks like. You can't know who's running the show if you're an anarchist, because nobody runs the show. There are no leaders. The people who lead anarchy says there's no leaders. I always found that kind of funny, because there's no such thing as no leaders. There's always a leader. There's always somebody telling somebody what to do. Or somebody's. A group of people who've taken on the role as leaders. And they tell a bunch of other people what to do. Even if you tell people what not to do, you're leading them. Even if you stand up there and say, don't do this, don't do that. We don't need leaders. We don't need society. We don't need government. We don't need law. We don't need any of that. You're leading. You're leading these people. And if they follow you, it's because you're a leader. Leaders are useless without followers. And followers are useless without leaders. When I grew up, the favorite thing was too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I came from a big family. Everybody wanted to be the chief. Nobody wanted to be the Indian. Everybody just wanted to be the chief. Everybody wanted to tell everybody what to do. How to do it. Think this way. Do it this way. But we don't have leaders, is what they would say. You got to have leaders. You got to have followers. And I personally think lead or follow or get the hell out of the way. Because you're useless. You've become useless. Because the bottom line is, I don't care how you package it, we're a society. You don't have to do everything, but you have to do something. One way or another, you have to do something. No matter what it is, no matter how big or how small. When you live in a society, you will do something. You can spend your life fighting and trying as hard as you can not to do nothing, but it would be a lot easier just to do something. I remember when I was a working man, and people would get hired, usually the new guy, he'd get hired, and he would spend his whole day trying to figure out how not to do any work. He would do that, actually do that. People would, they would hide. Don't let him see you or you're going to have to work. They would actually say that. And, that would make the day go by so long. Just watching these people try to get away from work. Well, I'm a young man, I'm thinking, well, let's see how that works. Let's go hide. And yeah, I fell into it. And then I found my day was so long. When I could have just went and did the work and been done with it. Kept myself busy. Give them 8 for 8. That's what we used to say. Give them 8 for 8. But a lot of people don't want to do that because they'd be a slave. Well, that's anarchy. That's, a wasted day. Wasted days turn into wasted weeks. Wasted weeks turn into wasted years. And before you know it, you're an old, useless person. It's bad enough being old. But to have wasted your whole life to the point that when you're old, you have nothing. You don't even have a good memory. You don't even have a good memory of what your life was about because you spent your whole life fighting for nothing. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And the media will still be reporting the news. Will live stream get bigger than it is? I think so. I think live stream is going to grow. I think that the day is going to come that all this stuff we're getting for free, we're not going to get it for free anymore. They're already inching at us. They're already inching at us. All the commercials that are on our live stream now. YouTube and live stream is filled with commercials. That's a sign right there that the free stuff is on its way out. I never thought I would have to pay to watch TV. Because TV used to be about information. And, as the world turns, the people who run our society sees that there's jobs there. People forget that there's jobs behind all of this shit. Like Walmart, for example. People want us to boycott Walmart. Well, yeah, you can boycott Walmart, Kmart. You can boycott them if you want to. But them are people in there doing their jobs, feeding their families. You want them to all go out on strike? Well, yeah, they can do that. They can lose their jobs. Who's going to support their families? When you're tired of playing Robin Hood, when you go home to your income and your family and your comfortable place, and they lose their homes, and they don't have no money to feed their families. Not even a Big Mac. They don't even have a Big Mac to take home that they get at a discount or for free. from McDonald's because somebody for some reason ordered something, didn't like it or whatever, and they just don't throw it out. Some of the employees take it home and feed their families. Same thing with Walmart. They may not be making the money that you want them to make, but they got to feed their families. So they'll take what they can get. It'd be nice if they made $15 an hour. Minimum wage was $15 an hour. That'd be nice. That'd be great. Because it's true. If they make $15 an hour, they'll spend that money, put it into the economy. The economy does better. That's just the way it works. But what's happened in the past is every time there's a wage increase, there's a price increase. So you haven't done nothing. People realize that everybody in a community is making $15 an hour, so the rent goes up. Landlords know this. That's why there's some of the rules that they have in New York City, that you can't raise the rent. They have to do the same thing with pricing. Every business knows that when cost goes up, you raise the price. Or maybe there should be a law against that. Every time there's a problem in the Middle East, the price of gas goes up. Be nice if it didn't. That's what you have to work on. You can't just work on part of the problem. You've got to work on all of the problem. Boycotting Walmart might make you feel good. You might feel like you're doing something. Yippee! I'm protesting. I'm doing something good. But when those people lose their jobs, what good did you do? Now they're not even making $7 an hour, $7.25. They're not even making that. Because you protested. You did the right thing, you thought. Yeah, that's the way it goes. That's the way it works. I'm Artstarzz. That's just my opinion. Have a good day.